Mark, obviously this is a defense that's hit on a lot of cylinders all year. What part of your defensive effort today did you feel like kind of pushed Memphis over the edge?
I thought we did a good job tonally to start the game. We were ready to play. I thought we were tight in our stuff. And like I said, set a good tone. But they played 36 hours ago and had an emotional game, had to turn around and play at noon today, which is a really tough turnaround. So they're going to be better, Tuesday. So I thought we did a good job, but, I don't think we can expect that. From them, they're going to play a lot better than that. They're going to be fresher. They have big-time competitors. So we need to be ready to play on Tuesday.
A lot of that lead was built, when Shea was on the bench in the second. This probably speaks more to your depth. Just what you see when he was gone for the team to build that lead.
Yeah, the units played well all year. They played well tonight. I thought Dub really set the tone with his facilitation. He did a really good job of getting the ball ahead of them. And then we made really good plays off of it. We made shots, and we also made extra passes and got ourselves some closeouts on offense. And so I thought he really set a tone just for the way he moved the ball. And so that group was positive, but all the way through, I was impressed with how the guys came out and played.
Yeah, Mark, you guys set quite a few franchise playoff records tonight. One of them that sticks out is most forced turnovers in a game. So what do you like about you guys' point of attack defense? And didn't really seem like the Grizzlies got many good looks all night.
Yeah, we were amped up. I give the guys a lot of credit for the week of practice that we had. That's a sneaky tough week because it's a lot of days without a game. It gets you out of the rhythm of games, and you have to get back into a kind of a practice mindset. And I thought they did a great job all week of just taking it a day at a time and knocking out what we needed to knock out. Our staff and two-way guys did a great job all week of helping us get ready. So I thought we were really sharp, start the game. I give a lot of credit to the preparation. But again, we've got to now, win the gaps between the games and prepare for the next one.
And on the other side of the floor, 36 assists for you guys. What do you like about the ball movement, and not only the ball movement, but the player movement that you guys had tonight? Yeah,
it took us a minute to get to there. I thought we were just like a little, late in the first quarter. And as it wore on in the first half, I thought we got a rhythm in terms of the way we moved it. And I thought we were sharp in our actions, which gets the initial advantage. So you combine those two things, and you're more difficult to guard.
Mark, what did you see from Chet tonight, especially the looks he was getting offensively?
Yeah, I thought he was really good. He's still working back, from a long layoff and injury. He's obviously a lot better now than he was right after it. He's put a lot of work in and done a great job. So he set a really good tone for us tonight on both ends of the floor, rim deterrence. He was good on the glass, scrappy on the glass, and then had a good blend on offense.
Mark, you've had times throughout the year where you've had this avalanche of run throughout a game. It's not the same group of guys all the time that does it. Is the easy answer it's defense that keys that, or what do you feel like really builds when you guys have those moments in games?
I think it's the easy answer. I think it's defense. It's hard to have a run when you're not stacking stops up, and we have to lean into that as a team as we go into all these games. We've got to understand that's one of the hardest things about playing against us is when we're really physical and executing our stuff and engaged on that end of the floor. So, I thought we were in a good place tonight, combined with probably some of their fatigue, and we've got to turn around and be really sharp with that on Tuesday because they're going to be a lot sharper, like I said.
Is one of the hardest things against you guys the fact that run, the avalanche can come with a group that's largely second wave guys, and I guess it would just be hard for opponents. Do you feel like the ability to have that kind of run out with, Shea on the bench, Jalen on the bench, whatever the case might be, just really makes you guys difficult?
Yeah, we just want to be a 48-minute team. We want to have balance in all the units. We're fully healthy right now, so it gives us a lot of options. And I thought everybody that went in the game tonight, including the guys down the stretch, did a great job of being ready to play and playing, compete together basketball, which is what we want to be about.
Mark, it's Easter Sunday. Obviously a noon tip-off. Can you talk about the crowd? And you seem to give them some. They gave it back. It just completely engaged the entire game.
Yeah, happy Easter to all our fans. And, the crowd was, as usual, great. It's expected at this point because of the tone that they've set over all these years. But, we get great energy from them, the support they give us, and they're great when the wind's in our face as well during courses of the game. They help get behind us, and they've done that for years, obviously here. So we're grateful to them. Need them again on Tuesday.
Mark, Shea had his usual bad game every 3 months today, and you win by historic margins. Not just win, but easy. Is that comforting as a coach to know even if your superstar is off, you don't have to scratch and claw to win?
That's what a team is. You don't want to be dependent on one player for anything. You don't want to. Lou Dort's a great defender, but our defense shouldn't be predicated on how Lou defends. I think that's what teams do is they pick each other up, and they compensate for one another. The whole's better than the sum of the parts, and that allows everybody to just stay plugged in. I thought Shea didn't have it going early with his shooting, but stayed inside of what we were trying to do. Played a really good floor game, especially in the third. I thought he came out of halftime with great intentionality. He just made all the right plays, got his teammates shots. They started doubling him. I thought he handled those really well. So.
Look like your bigs, both Chet and Nyhart. They complemented each other really well tonight, offense and defense, whether it's rim protection, scoring, feeding the open guy tonight.
Yeah, we've put a lot of time into that, since Chet's been back, just because he missed so much time, and that was just a version of our team that we didn't really know, and they didn't really know. So we've done that a lot, for this purpose, because there's going to be times in games and times in this series where we're going to need those guys out there together, and they've developed a great rhythm and collaboration on both ends of the floor. I thought they played really well in their minutes together today.
And for a game that was pretty much over at halftime, you guys, it stayed pretty clean. You had like a 10-0 run to start the third quarter, and they never really let it devolve into just kind of ugly basketball.
Yeah, we want to play the possessions and not the score. That's important. It's a series. We play Memphis again Tuesday. So regardless what the score is, whether you're up or down, you're always building habits. You're always setting a tone in a series. And I thought all the guys did a great job of just running through the finish line of the game and taking advantage of every possession, not playing the score.
Michael Martin, let's talk Thunder. Mark, you mentioned a lot of the context around the Grizzlies and sort of the play and the emotions of them getting this quick turnaround. With a game like this and sort of the margin, how much can you extrapolate from a game like this, or is it more so just burn the tape in a lot of ways because of just how different it is from a regular game?
Never burn the tape. You get a sense of how they're trying to attack, and you get a sense of how they try to counter certain things that we do. So we can definitely learn from it. So can they. Both teams will learn from it and, have a plan for Tuesday. I just was saying that because it's a series, and this is a team that's got really good players. They've played really well this season, and they've got great competitors. And so coming off a game like this, it's pretty predictable that they're going to be better and they're going to be motivated on Tuesday, and we need to have our mind wrapped around that.
Yeah, Coach, you played, I think, 10 players there in that first quarter, and I think Wiggs started the second quarter. He went on to lead the team in scoring. Can you just talk about his, never-ending ability to turn it on a dime?
Yeah, he's got great readiness and professionalism. You can put him in any situation, and he can figure his way, out of it. And he's really good. He's been really good in those units all season. We wanted to get the rotation the way it was tonight, but we'll move things around as necessary, or if the game calls for it. But like I said, he's got great readiness, professionalism. He's been building this muscle for a long time.
I wanted to ask about Alex Caruso and Casey Wallace off the bench. Neither one played big minutes. There's only one shot between the two of them, but there was still a pretty loud presence from them on the court. Just tell me about what you saw from them today.
Yeah, big time, winning basketball by those two guys, from the defensive pressure, execution of the game plan, energy plays. And like I said, I thought the ball movement early in the game was just a little sticky, and we were just kind of finding our way in the game. We haven't played in a while together, and that group kind of got us into a groove. It started with Dub with the attacks and the early passes, and then those guys played on the closeouts really well and made sound decisions and kept the ball ahead of the defense. So they were great, obviously.
Mark, Darnell Mayberry, The Athletic. Can you go back to that challenge at the half, right before the half? It was a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it was a hell of a sequence. What did you see that made you challenge, and what did you think that meant for your team in that moment?
I mean, I'm just trying to help the team in any way I can. I didn't think Bagley was legal on that play. Obviously, he wasn't, because they confirmed that with the challenge. But even there, they're about to give the guy 3 shots in a wide margin game. So that challenge doesn't have to have a high probability to make it worth it in my mind. But Alex was pretty convicted that he was illegal on the court. Thought the replay showed enough that he was illegal. That's why we went and got it.
Yeah, Coach. A.J. Mitchell's first playoff minutes off an injury. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, he was great. He's still getting in shape. Like I said, the Chet conversation too. These guys are out for a long time. It takes time to get conditioning back. It takes time to get rhythm back. But in his time with us during the season, he proved to be, a highly functional player that brings certain utility to our group with the things that he does. And it was good to be able to get him out there for those minutes tonight and get him a burn and get him breathing, get him playing, build some confidence, because we're going to need all these guys to be ready to contribute their strengths at different times, including him. So I thought he did a great job.
In 21, this team beat you by 73 points. Does any part of you think about that game today?
No, I'm thinking about game 2.
We go Riley with the last one.
I was just going to go back to the Wiggins question about his readiness, and what to you defines readiness? Whenever you look at a player and can trust that they're going to be ready to go regardless of the situation.
Yeah, just you see him in enough situations over the course of 82 games, and in Aaron's case, over the course of years. And when they can prove to be consistent in changing circumstances and in different contexts, then it's easy to trust them in any circumstance and in any context. And we've got a lot of guys like that. We try to help them build that muscle. That's part of being a pro. But nobody carries that flag better than him. He's done it for a long time and done it well. And now it's good to see, like on a stage like this, for him to be able to just get his number called and be ready to play. His first time he touched the ball, he made a 3. He's just got a great mindset for that stuff.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.